Bruchim haboim. Welcome everyone. We're about to begin Be'ezras Hashem together on Daf Ches Amud Beis. Starting with Daf Ches Amud Aleph, 2 lines from the bottom. Regarding the Kohen Gadol who is separated 7 days before Yom Kippurim, as well as the Kohen HaSoref is separated 7 days before being Soref the Para Aduma, the Brisa says that there are 3 opinions. The opinion of Rabbi Meir is that each day, each one is sprinkled with the Mechatos. Rabbi Yossi is only on the 3rd and the 7th day do they both get sprinkled. On that, Rabbi Hanania Sgan HaKohanim says only the Kohen HaSoref needs the sprinkling every single day, but that's because it's a Maila Yisero. The Gemara explains that Rabbi Meir, who says that they need sprinkling every single day, is because he learns out a Hekesh. Just as Tvila Bizmana is a mitzvah, so too the sprinkling of the Mechatos is a mitzvah. And therefore we must do it every day to be ensured that he is then going to be sprinkled on the 3rd and the 7th day. The Gemara now explains the following. Asks, Keman Azlo Hodetanu Rabbanon, like whom do these 3 opinions follow this following brisa? Ein ben Kohen HaSoref es HaPara leKohen Gadol b'Yom Kippurim. There's not a difference between the Kohen HaSoref and the Kohen Gadol, Elo, except on top of Ches Amud Beis, shezeh prishaso lekedusha ve'echov hakohanim nogim boy, ve'zeh prishaso letahara ve'ein echov hakohanim nogim boy. The only difference is that the Kohen Gadol before Yom Kippurim, when he's segregated, he's being segregated for kedusha. What does that mean, kedusha? The Mefarshim explain so that he'll have a certain awe before Yom HaKippurim, and therefore by him being segregated, that itself will then put him in a position we'll have to think about the importance and the severity of his avodah on Yom Kippurim. And therefore, technically, anybody comes in to visit can go ahead and touch him, there's no problem. However, in regards to the Kohen HaSoref, who segregated 7 days before the burning of the Para Aduma, there, because we want to make a very important chumrah, so that there's a special shmirah, since indeed we have to combat that which we said that we're going to be matbil him after we first make him tameh, so that he'll be just a tvul yoim, and not the level that he has to wait till Herev Shemesh, like the Tzedokim say. Therefore, to combat that leniency, we're machbir, and we give him a special shmirah, and therefore his separation is litahara, and thereby no kohanim can go ahead and touch him either. The Gemara says, Keman, who does this follow like? Of the 3 opinions that we mentioned before, or Rabbi Meir, or Rabbi Yossi. Either one can fit the bill, because both of them say consistently, whether it's going to be the Kohen Gadol, or in regards to the Kohen HaSoref, both of them, either according to Rabbi Meir, requires 7 days of sprinkling, or Rabbi Yossi, the 3rd and the 7th day. But they are consistent that both are requiring the same thing, the same type of procedure. Whereas the Rabbi Chanina, Sgan HaKohanim, ha'iknami ha. Whereas there's Chanina Sgan HaKohanim, since he says that it's only the Kohen HaSoref that requires the sprinkling for 7 days, and even that's just the Maila Yisera. He would also then say that this would be a difference between the 2 of them. In other words, only the Kohen, again, HaSoref requires the sprinkling, whereas the Kohen Gadol before Yom Kippurim does not require sprinkling at all. The fact that it doesn't say that over here clearly indicates that he doesn't go like this brisa. Says the Gemara, Maskif lo Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Chanina. The Gemara asks the following question. Now we are segregating the Kohen Gadol, let's say, for 7 days before the Kohen Gadol does the avodah on Yom Kippurim, and Rabbi Meir says those 7 days we need to sprinkle him each day. Why? We learned before, because we have to ensure that he's sprinkled on the 3rd and the 7th day. So says the Gemara asking the following. Maskif lo Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Chanina. Bishlama Rishon Shema Shlishi. Sheni Shema Shlishi. Shlishi Shema Shlishi. That's fine and well. We understand that we have to sprinkle him on the first day because maybe he became nitma from 2 days before, and this would be the third day, the first of the days of segregation. And we also understand why, indeed, he'd have to be sprinkled on the second day, because then maybe, indeed, it was 1 day before the segregation, this would be the third day. And we also understand why we'd have to sprinkle him on the third day as well, because maybe he only was nitma right before he was segregated, and therefore this is the third day where he needs to be sprinkled. The Gemara continues its question and says, Chamishi Shem Shvi, Shishi Shem Shvi, Shvi Shem Shvi. The fifth, the sixth, and the seventh day is also understood because that's potentially the seventh day. So again, if you go based on what we said before, that the first day of segregation is the third day, then it comes out to be that the fifth day is the seventh day. And if you go the next day, then the sixth day is the seventh day, and the next day, the seventh day is the seventh day. Thereby, we've covered all of our bases, requiring the sprinkling of all 7 days in regards to being choishesh, if it's on the third or the seventh day. Except for one, the Gemara points out, El Revi Lamali Hazar Klal. Based on this calculation, we took care of all of our bases, that we for sure will ensure that he is sprinkled on the third and the seventh day. The fourth day, he doesn't need to be sprinkled. So why is he sprinkled for all 7 days? That's the Gemara's question. El Revi Lamali Hazar Klal. There's no concern, no suffix, that it was the third or the seventh day, because we covered our ground, our bases, by then sprinkling on the first, second, third, fifth, sixth, and seventh, as was explained. So therefore, why is he sprinkled on the fourth? Ask the Gemara back, according to your rationale, any time a person needs 7 days of hazah, it's never going to be 7 days of hazah, because hakaimelon da hazah shvus ve'ena doiches haShabbos. There's always going to be 1 day that comes out to be on Shabbos, which we do not sprinkle, because it's not doiches haShabbos. Why is it not doiches haShabbos? Explained by the Gemara over there in Shabbos, because since it's mechzei ketikun, it's not a true tikun, but it's as if there's a tikun over here. Therefore, the Chachamim were asering the hazah on Shabbos. So al kaponim, we find that even when there's 7 days of sprinkling, 1 day is not included, the Shabbos. Elamai islach lemeimar shiva lebar mi Shabbos. So what are you going to say? When there's 7 days of sprinkling, it excludes Shabbos. So hachanami shiva lebar mi mervi. So too, these 7 days is also lav davka. The 7 days that are required of sprinkling does not include the fourth day. It's first, second, third, fifth, sixth, and seventh, because that way we're ensuring that he's sprinkled on the third and the seventh day. Says the Gemara Amar Rava. Rava then concludes from this Hilkach. Therefore, Kohen Gadol b'Yom HaKippurim Deloy b'Kididon Talia Milsa. Since Yom HaKippurim, according to us, is not dependent on us, because it's Yud Tishrei is when Yom HaKippurim comes out. Therefore, Ela b'Kaviyah Diyaracha Talia Milsa. Therefore, we have to separate him on the third of Tishrei, which would be 7 days before Yud Tishrei. They call Eimas the Misrami Tlasa b'Tishrei mafrishinon. And therefore, whatever day of the week it comes out, Gimel Tishrei, that's when we're going to segregate him. And therefore, it will come out sometimes that there might even be 2 days that he's not sprinkled, the fourth day as well as the Shabbos. Aval koyen hasaref es haporo debididon talia milso. In regards to then segregating the kohen hasaref, that depends on us. We determine when he is segregated, and therefore we can choose which day to segregate him. Mafreshin on lei berevi b'Shabbos. Therefore, we'll choose to then separate him on Wednesday on the revi b'Shabbos, so that indeed the fourth day will come out to be on Shabbos, and he'll only miss 1 of the 7 days. So that it'll come out that the fourth day will be on Shabbos, and therefore again we'll only have to then miss 1 day instead of 2 days in regards to the Kohen who is Saref, the Para Aduma.